All right, Crouton, time to leave. Bye-bye. Say goodbye to the audience.
Welcome to Give Me a Mic Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Wilson Detres. I have my host Chris Day here with me. It is January 10th, 2019, and we have a lot to talk about. A lot of news, just came in and broke since last week, including AEW, All Elite Wrestling. They just announced Double or Nothing.
And that will be May 25th in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was putting my cat away because she's an annoying piece of shit. So anyway, AEW had their press conference a couple days ago in Jacksonville. Got a ton of notes to go over from that.
Right.
Including all the superstars that were at the press conference.
And let's talk about one of their big signees, Chris Jericho.
I have to say that's the biggest signee. Jericho showed up at the end of that press conference. And he was on Sirius XM's Busted Open Radio earlier today, which was January 10th. Apparently he signed a 3-year deal with AEW. And they also have TV deals in the works. They're not known what networks yet. But Jericho said one of the main reasons he signed is because there will be a TV deal coming through. Otherwise, it's not really much of a point for someone like him, who's, known all over the world, I guess.
Right.
But Chris Jericho is, the big name signing. But another big name that showed up at the press conference was Neville, who is known as Pac now, I believe.
Pac.
So he showed up at the press conference, confronted Hangman Adam Page over who might be the potential first ever AEW champion. Not saying it'll be either one of them, but they've kind of built the groundwork for that if that's the case. I'd like to also point out that Hangman Adam Page is 1 year younger than me.
Is he really?
Yes, he's 26. So that shows you where my life is going. I'm talking about him, and he's there.
And I'm older than him.
In the Elite, signed with AEW, could possibly be the first ever champion there.
Here we are.
Yeah. Also, SCU from Ring of Honor, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky, SoCal Uncensored, who, by the way, I'm big fans of. They kicked off the press conference and announced they signed with AEW. So AEW is not really messing around. They're big-name signings.
Still more to come. This is just the groundworks, and it's very interesting. Goldberg was rumored.
I did hear that rumors also.
Heard AEW reached out to him, had a discussion with him. Very cordial conversations from what I read online. Nothing's been legit yet, but he'd be a huge name.
Absolutely, and they're backed by Tony Khan, who is a billionaire. So money is no issue for them.
No.
If they need to sign someone, they could sign somebody.
Mm-hmm. A lot of WWE talents are interested too, like the Revival.
We'll get to the Revival when we talk about Raw a little later on, but AEW's going to need a tag team division. Why not go with someone like them? But I do want to throw out the fact that something I was reading about earlier on. AJ Styles has not signed a new WWE contract yet, and it's rumored to come up in April. If he doesn't re-sign, he'll be out of WWE in time for Double or Nothing. Just going to throw that out there.
No, he'll stay.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Well, he is friends with the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
His contract is up. He's 40 years old. He might want a lighter schedule. He can get pretty much probably close to the same amount of money at least with the financial backing that AEW has.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a TV deal, maybe announced by then, that might be something that he might be interested in.
It's possible.
Not saying it's going to happen, but you never know.
It's very possible. I'm just interested to see if they're going to do a weekly TV show, that they're going to do two TV shows a week, like how WWE does, Raw and Smackdown.
I can't imagine that would be the case off the bat.
Probably just one show a week then.
I would think they'll probably get one show at first. I would probably say it'd probably be 2 hours. Maybe an hour at first. I remember back in the day when Impact was actually good. They had a 1 hour TV show that got expanded to 2 hours when it got better. Obviously, Impact is not what it used to be, but
they're going to be the one who's hurting the most out of all of this. I read that AEW signees or their talent, they're open and they're allowed to do outside projects.
Yes,
like New Japan, stuff like that. So that's cool and all, but for Impact, that's going to hurt them.
There's actually
they're hurting now. This is
absolutely. And actually, it's a point to bring up. SCU, who just signed with AEW, they are scheduled to do a couple indie appearances up in our area, New England, with Northeast Wrestling. later this month in January. They got a show in New York and a show in Waterbury, Connecticut. So yeah, it's open flexibility with some of those guys. But also,
did you see the new AEW is Jericho shirt?
I did. I have not bought an AEW t-shirt yet. I do plan to do so.
Same here.
Because let's face it, it's something new, and WWE it's stale and old, and despite being told we're going to get new matchups and stuff, I still see the same stuff every week on my TV.
Well, now that we mentioned that, let's talk about Raw and SmackDown from this past week.
Ugh.
Let's start with Raw.
Do we have to?
Well, I mean...
Do we have to? I don't have to relive what happened again. All right. We'll start with Raw. It's the first live Raw of the year. New Year's Day was a taped edition.
Oh, okay.
Or New Year's Eve was a taped edition. Sorry, New Year's Eve was a taped edition. So actually, it was the first Raw of the year anyway.
Right.
2019.
Right.
We kicked it off with Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley brawling backstage, which lasted about all of a minute before it was broken up. And then John Cena made his triumphant return to Monday Night Raw after appearing on SmackDown the previous week,
announcing his announcing that he'll be entering the 2019 Men's Royal Rumble.
That surprised me.
Why?
I had heard a few weeks ago that something about he was supposed to be starting a movie soon.
Exactly. That's fine. He's not going to win it.
Well, no, but in an interview that he gave, he apologized to The Rock about criticizing him for movies. Because if he got hurt, the whole movie production has to hold up. And, 200 people have to wait on him.
Right.
So hopefully Seth Rollins doesn't break his nose or something in the Royal Rumble. Because that would cause an issue. But most likely Cena's there. He'll do a bunch of safe spots, hit his moves, and then someone will toss him over the top rope.
To set up their match for Mania.
Ugh. Yeah, Cena did point out in his promo on Raw that he was not going to miss out on WrestleMania. So...
Who does it? It's a paycheck. It's a huge paycheck.
Well, it's a huge paycheck for everybody. But yeah, he's not going to miss out on Mania. Although last year, his story with Undertaker, I was sitting on the floor of Mania, and Cena happened to be in my section, so I did get a picture with the man before Mania started.
I do remember you sent me that. Did you just go up to him?
Yeah, just went up to him. That was completely lucky. On the way there, I was telling my friends, I'm like, what if Cena's sitting in our section to further that storyline? We walk in... Unbelievably, he was like 10 rows in front of us, had a couple security guys with him, people swarming him, and I'm like, oh my god, that's John Cena. Now, don't get me wrong, not a fan of John Cena the character, but I wasn't going to miss the chance to go to a picture with the guy. He's,
So what'd you do? This? Hey, can I have a picture? What do you say?
Pretty much. He was just turning and facing basically whatever camera was in his face. Say, hey, can I get a picture? Held my phone up, took the picture, said thank you, and went on my way. Got out of the mob scene. But yeah, so it was worth it for me. Yeah. Got a picture of John Cena for free at WrestleMania on the floor of Mania. So at least that's something. But yeah, back to Raw.
Yeah.
He cuts his promo. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre interrupts him, says that he's going to beat him, and whatever. Cena gives his whole spiel about everyone before you said the same thing, blah blah blah. The typical Cena promo. Lashley and Lio Rush come back out and say something needs to be done about Seth Rollins. Bringing the brawl back up. They said they were going to hold Raw hostage if nothing happened, and they were going to bring lawyers involved and whatever, garbage.
Right.
Seth Rollins comes back out, attacks Lashley. Dean Ambrose comes out, attacks Seth Rollins. Finn Balor comes out, joins the fray.
I wonder what this...
Conveniently during the brawl, they go to commercial. When the commercial comes back, everyone's on the apron, there's a referee in the ring, and we have a six-man tag that was apparently, I'm going to do air quotes here, made official during the commercial break by the authority member who didn't appear on screen.
Because conveniently they were all in their wrestling gear.
Ready
to compete, right?
Yeah, everyone was ready to go. That's how you know, too, when someone like The Miz is going to wrestle or not. If he hosts Miz TV in a suit, he's not wrestling. If he comes out with his red or black leather robe thing on, you know it's going to turn into a match. Right. Because he has two different attires when he's doing something like that. So you know ahead of time. Mm-hmm. I've even called it before. I'm like, all right, Miz is not in a suit, so this is going to turn into a match somehow.
And it does.
It always does, yeah.
And if he's in a suit, he's going to take like a bumper. That's it.
Yeah, but he won't actually. There won't be a match. Yeah,
right.
It's like, kind of, don't make it so obvious for us to know what's going to happen next. I mean, come on, not stupid here. All right. So anyway, 6-man tag. Team face wins. Cena, Balor, and Rollins wins. Rollins pins Ambrose. He goes backstage. He demands an IC title match against Dean Ambrose in the main event, and we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about another big point that happened on Raw. Hulk Hogan returned.
Big tribute to Mean Gene.
Got a fairly warm reception from the crowd. I thought maybe it'd be a little more mixed than it was. So you could hear a couple boos, but it was mostly cheers. Did a tribute to Mean Gene. I felt it was a little weird.
Why?
Well, something like Hogan said something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, Mean Gene will have his pick between like Moolah or Mae Young now," and which yeah,
it was pretty funny.
No, I get it was funny, but I'm sure Mean Gene's wife didn't appreciate that.
Oh, that's true.
It's like something more of like he did die like a few days ago. I want you to think a little more
Well, it was probably an inside joke.
No, I know.
I mean, I don't think it should be taken that seriously.
No, I get it. And Hogan said like Mean Gene was gonna was booking a tag match between some of the greats. I think it was
Savage, and
Macho Man, and Piper. I think he said
Savage.
No, it was Savage and
Warrior
versus Piper and Mr. Perfect.
Oh man.
Which
with Andre as a special referee.
Yes, Andre as a special referee. That's a large referee. So no, it was pretty much a good-natured promo and tribute to him, and then they showed a video package, which was very nice. Hogan, was able to get in the "Let me tell you something, Mean Gene" line, which that was good. So overall, nice tribute to Mean Gene. Moving on, we got the women's title match, the Raw women's title match.
It was a Raw women's title match.
Announced for it wasn't. There was
it was announced.
It was.
Oh, that's right.
A moment of bliss. Alexa Bliss doing her talk show while her concussion symptoms heal, or what have you, to keep her on TV. Ronda Rousey was the first guest. She comes out, gives some kind of promo about the heart of the women's division, and then says that heart is Sasha Banks. I wanted to vomit. As you
see you. Okay, let's just pause this segment for a section. You've been very vocal about your displeasure of Sasha Banks.
Because she's horrible.
You've been very vocal about your displeasure of Sasha Banks. For that reason, and her women's title reigns, and her and Bayley's relationship on the same show. Can you just elaborate on that, please? Because I just want to hear it again. I just want to hear you get pissed off again.
Sasha Banks is a 4-time Raw Women's Champion. Every single time, her first title defense, she lost the belt. She's a 4-time champion with 0 successful title defenses. So you're telling me,
and out of all those,
she's going to be undefeated Ronda Rousey when she can't even defend the title successfully one time? No chance.
Out of her 4 women's title reigns, well, that's a good point. Out of all 4 of her reigns, she's held the title for up to 27 days. That's the longest she's ever held it.
I know one of them was 8 days.
One of them was 8 days.
That was the shortest one. She beat Alexa Bliss and then lost it on Raw 8 days later.
Yes.
Like, how can I take you seriously? You can put on good matches, but I can't take you seriously as a champion.
When she tapped out to Charlotte with 1 second to go in the Iron Woman match?
That was stupid. That's just like, wow, you're a little bitch. You can hold 2 seconds. And that didn't even make her lose. It tied it.
Oh, yeah.
And it went to overtime. It wasn't quite as bad as the time where Orton and Cena had an Iron Man match and Orton tapped out to lose with like 5 seconds left. That was stupid.
Yep.
I watched that at your home.
We did watch it.
Right after, that was about a half hour after Orton tried to blow up Cena with fireworks. It was a good match. Good. I won't lie, it was a good match.
It was 10 years ago, almost.
Breaking Point 09, was it?
That was Bragging Rights.
Bragging Rights on. Wow. Oof.
That was almost 10. Well, obviously it'll be in October, but that was almost 10 years ago. I feel old.
To give you guys tell you how long we've been watching this garbage for.
Yeah. Anyways, but why don't you like Bayley and Sasha Banks on the same show?
Because they just dragged on the whole friendship thing for way too long. Made it seem like they were going to break up over and over and over for months, and then kept them together. Which I'm assuming is solely for the women's tag team titles. Only reason. Because otherwise, it's stupid.
And you want Bayley or Sasha to go to SmackDown?
One of them needs to go on the other show. I don't care which one. I think Sasha Banks would be better on SmackDown, personally.
Right.
But Bayley would probably succeed in SmackDown also. Switch someone like... I'm not really sure who. Probably Mandy Rose would come to Raw, because Vince... Carmella could, coming to Raw would help too. Something to... I'm sure the Superstar Shake-Up in April will get
Naomi?
that. Naomi too. Well, I think they'll probably try to keep her on SmackDown or wherever the Usos are, I would think. But you never know. Anyway, we're getting off topic here.
The Moment of Bliss segment.
Moment of Bliss, Ronda Rousey's a guest. Tamina and Nia Jax come out. Blah, 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 blah. Sasha Banks is out there. Blah, 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 blah. It leads to a match between Sasha and Nia Jax. Bayley was at ringside at one point. Tamina was still out there. There was a scary moment in that match with Sasha Banks doing looked like it was going to be a Hurricane Rana on the apron to the floor, where Nia kind of just did like a face bump on the apron instead, and Sasha Banks fell to the floor. Not sure what was actually supposed to happen. I would assume Nia Jax was supposed to do a flip and take the Hurricane Rana.
Right.
Either way, it looks scary. The ending was a bank statement. Tap out.
Wait, Nia lost clean.
Yes, she tapped out. Yeah. Nia lost. I'm trying to think. Maybe either way, she lost. Doesn't make a difference how she lost. She lost. We're gonna have Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's title at the Royal Rumble. That's the main point.
And on the SmackDown side of things, you're gonna have Asuka, SmackDown Women's Champion, defending against Becky Lynch.
And we'll get into that in 1 second because we want to talk about how that match was announced like 3 weeks ago and then was mysteriously canceled kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah. Anyways, what else happened on Raw?
Raw, let me just run by the Revival real quick. There was a tag team championship lumberjack match. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode versus the Revival with all the other jobber tag teams at ringside, who really had nothing to do. They were kind of standing there.
Ascension were out there?
Yeah, they were actually. These lumberjacks, in a typical match, how the lumberjacks usually beat on the opponents and throw them back in the ring. They didn't really do that. They kind of just were there just to get TV time. Anyway, there's a point. I forget if it was Scott Dawson or Dash Wilder. They were pinning Chad Gable. Rude flipped him over. I think it was Scott Dawson who was being pinned. He was being pinned. Had his foot under the rope, touching the rope, also, mind you. The referee counted to 3. Foot was under the rope, got the 3 count. So to keep that storyline going, first they pinned the wrong guy at the Revival a couple weeks ago. This time the foot's under the rope. Keep that going. We've seen this kind of thing before where there's false finishes and it keeps the rivalry going. So I would assume in a week or two, maybe even wait till the Royal Rumble, put the tag titles on the pay-per-view. I doubt it because they'll probably need the guys for the Rumble match itself.
Maybe.
But
so where's the Authors of Pain?
Good question.
I hate when they do this.
And I'm pretty sure they were not lumberjacks. I'm pretty sure they were not out there. I could double check that, but I don't remember seeing them. I remember seeing like Lucha House Party and the B Team, the Ascension, etc. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I hate professional wrestling.
As we're doing a show about it. The Raw main event, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, IC title, Falls Count Anywhere. That was made by Triple H. Pretty good match. I enjoyed seeing a Falls Count Anywhere match. It actually went in the crowd and backstage and all that fun stuff. But if you are a wrestling fan, unless you've never seen the show before, you knew how this one was going to end. It's a no disqualification match, essentially.
Bobby
Lashley
interfered. And,
Rollins hit a curb stomp.
And
Lashley interfered, threw him around, hit a spear. Ambrose pinned him. 1, 2, 3. So that's probably the end of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Shitty way to end their rivalry. I would have ended it on a big pay-per-view, but it's WE for you.
Yeah, so Lashley and Rollins probably be the next big rivalry for him. Well, each other anyway.
Probably into the Rumble, maybe into the...
I would imagine one of them will eliminate each other from the Rumble. We'll probably see both of them in an Elimination Chamber match, probably to see who faces the Universal Champion at Mania, assuming that Lesnar retains. If he doesn't retain, then might be a Universal title match at Chamber, if Strowman is the one defending.
Right.
But either way...
Yeah, that's very interesting. Brock hasn't competed in an Elimination Chamber match, has he?
He has not, no.
Wait a minute, how the hell has he survived?
You'd think all the top guys that have been in a chamber match... I mean, hell, Mike Knox has been in a chamber match. Vladimir Kozlov has been in a chamber match.
Santino's been in a chamber match.
Brock Lesnar has not. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Right. Because, the champions defend it. Yeah.
They really should pay him to be in the chamber. He can come in last, win in like 10 minutes. I don't really care. But put him in the chamber match. At least make him look like he's defending the title.
So that's an interesting note that you said that, because if he's never competed in the Elimination Chamber, it's safe to say he's either going to retain at the Rumble and then go straight to Mania. Also, keep in mind, there's 2 pay-per-views in between Mania from Rumble until... You know what I mean? From Rumble to Mania, there's 2 pay-per-views in between. Or he's going to lose it, and then Strowman will defend it in the chamber, and then whatever happens at Fastlane happens at Fastlane.
I'm going to tell you 100% there is no shot in hell that Brock Lesnar is on Fastlane. Let's just face that. That ain't not going to happen. Chamber, maybe.
Maybe.
More than likely, if Lesnar retains at Rumble, he goes straight to Mania. I have no doubt he goes straight to Mania.
Think so?
Yes, because it's Brock Lesnar and he does what he wants. He goes straight to Mania. No, I have no doubt about that.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess we just covered Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman.
Well,
here's
the thing: if Brock goes to Mania, and then it's also interesting to say because you don't think, I'm pretty sure Braun Strowman is not main eventing WrestleMania.
I don't think so. I think
if he does, he'll have a stroke right now.
I think Braun might. I think he either wins at Rumble. If he does, he drops it at Fastlane. Yeah, or Brock just wins and goes straight to Mania with the title. And I think this year Brock actually loses the title at Mania
to
probably Seth Rollins. If I'm guessing, not necessarily the case. We'll see. There's still a lot of time before that.
Drops it to Lashley.
Listen here. Don't insult me. There's no way that's a main event of WrestleMania.
Keep in mind, it's also very possible AJ Styles wins the Royal Rumble, jumps to Raw, and challenges Brock.
That could be something. The matchup was supposed to happen at Survivor Series again. Could happen. Or, we could just be really insulted and have, The Rock show up, win the Rumble, and have Rock versus Brock 2 at Mania 17 years later.
That's been heavily talked about, too.
I hate pro wrestling.
So imagine if Rock wins a Rumble, like you said, and goes to win the title at Mania.
Wins the title?
Yeah. Well, Rock's not going to lose again in Brock.
So he can hold
the Universal title
for 3 weeks and lose it to whatever's... What is Rock's going to go to Extreme Rules and lose the belt there or something? Come on. Mr. Hollywood's going to defend the title in a steel cage or something? Give me a break.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, so many things that happen. I don't know. But as of this time, Royal Rumble is only 2.5 weeks away. The card is pretty much shaped up. Some more names were announced: McIntyre, Cena, etc. But that's enough about Raw, I think. So let's move on to the SmackDown recap. And we will start with what opened the show, which was Daniel Bryan. He was up at the concession area.
That was a great promo.
It was a great promo. He took a hot dog from a fan, air quotes, stole the fan's hot dog, etc., threw it at him, ran down stuff like soda and other concessions and whatnot, and then compared them to AJ Styles somehow. But I love this new heel Daniel Bryan. Oh, he also went over to the merch booth and asked for a Yes Movement shirt, which obviously I don't have anymore. Then took an AJ Styles glove or something and left and came through the crowd, got down to ringside where he was attacked by R-Truth. And the opening match of SmackDown was Daniel Bryan versus R-Truth, which ended pretty quickly. I might have gotten a commercial break right at first when it started, but the match couldn't have been more than 6 or 7 minutes long. Daniel Bryan wins, made R-Truth tap out. As Bryan was leaving, he was attacked by AJ Styles, kind of just to further the match at Rumble, which I would have to assume was the end of that rivalry. That rivalry, it's been going on since before Crown Jewel. Because the SmackDown match was the Halloween episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, you're right.
We're talking about October here. This has been going on since. So this has got to be the end of the Daniel Bryan Styles feud, unless they're both in a chamber match or something. But as far as one-on-one, that's got to be it. Yeah. It really does. I would like to throw out the tag team match that followed, which was...
Wait, were you insulted by Daniel Bryan's promo because he likes soda?
No, I was...
the cup of high fructose corn syrup.
It was funny because they were showing the souvenir cups and stuff which I have bought in the past. So I don't know why I would say insulted, but I was like, hey, I like soda. I had a Coke a little while ago too, actually.
Oh, a bottle of high fructose corn syrup.
It was a glass at the restaurant. I was out to lunch with my girlfriend.
I'd just like to point out, completely unrelated to this, I'm at 1 year without no soda this month, and I'm fine.
Slow clap for Wilson, folks. Slow clap. Oh, let's be there. Right.
For those of you who don't care. Anyways, let's move on.
There was a tag match that followed that. It was Cien Almas and Samoa Joe, I think. And Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali and Rey Mysterio. So I was very surprised when the ending was Cien Almas pinning Rey Mysterio. I thought the faces were going to win, but if you want to build up someone new like Cien Almas, makes sense. Have him pin a former world champion, WWE champion Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Gives him a little credibility. At least Samoa Joe has a win next to his name because he loses all the time. Doesn't hurt Mustafa Ali any as they're trying to build him up because he wasn't pinned. I thought it was actually a pretty good match. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't a bad match at all. What followed later in the show was The Bar versus the Usos. The Usos win. They get a tag title match.
Nice.
It's a good match. It ended when Mandy Rose came out to further this joke of a storyline they have where she likes whatever Uso is married to Naomi. I don't even know if it's Jay or Jimmy, to be honest. I really don't know. She came out, asked if she had left her gold top in his hotel room. She was wrapped in a towel. Distracted him. Cesaro hit the neutralizer on whoever. I don't even know because they look the same. They've been in the company for 9 years. I can't tell the difference still. I really can't. Jimmy and Jay, I know them both, but I can't tell who's who. Etc. They go to commercial break. Or actually, no, before that. Actually, I'm not sure if it was before that or not. I think it was after the commercial. They showed Mandy Rose backstage. She finds Sonya Deville. They're talking. And she takes the towel off, has all her clothes on, obviously, the gold top and everything. Naomi attacks them both. The numbers game catch up to her, and then her husband shows up and saves the day. No dialogue between Naomi and her husband over, the accusations or whatever. Same thing, we've seen this kind of storyline before, etc. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's going to end up with nothing happening. We almost saw the same thing with Aiden English, Lana, and Rusev recently.
Yeah.
The accusations, there was footage that didn't actually show anything when you saw the full footage, and it's the same type of thing. I don't really see the point of a rivalry between Mandy Rose and Naomi unless it's going to elevate one of them to the title picture after this, which I could see with Mandy Rose, because apparently Vince McMahon wants to make Mandy Rose a big star.
I was just about to say that.
I don't really see that in my opinion, but
no.
If Vince wants something, he's going to get it, so.
Oh, wow.
But jumping back to The Bar, after the match was over, The Miz came out. He told The Bar that they're the best tag team and that they've beaten every team on SmackDown, except one, the best tag team in the world, and challenged them to a match. Sheamus bro-kicked The Miz. They accepted. And at the Royal Rumble, we're going to get a tag team title match of The Bar versus The Miz and Shane McMahon. And you can hear Wilson's stunned silence. I'm assuming you didn't know that until just now. That's right, folks. At the Royal Rumble, Shane McMahon and The Miz have a tag team title match. You look dumbfounded right now. I know you guys can't see Wilson. He looks dumbfounded. What are your thoughts on that?
I have no thoughts on that. What the fuck am I supposed to think about that? You have a fucking tag team division, and the commissioner inserts himself into a tag team.
Well, they're
going to win. You know that.
To be fair, earlier in the night, Shane told The Miz that they had to challenge other teams on SmackDown and whatever, and prove that they were, a legitimate tag team. And The Miz instead challenged the tag team champions, taking it a different way. So I guess I don't know, but yes, I'm gonna assume that the Miz and Shane McMahon will somehow win the match, probably with like Shane half dead, Miz cheating, and Shane
half dead,
and then Shane getting the pin, thinking "Yay, we won!" But then realizing later on the Miz cheated, and there'll be some friction there, and I really hope it doesn't lead to a Miz versus Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania. But I just called it, so you're welcome. Because if The Miz is not having a title match at Mania, that's what he's doing. He's facing Shane McMahon at Mania. Right? You'd think that makes sense?
Yep.
Shane steals the thunder from the Best in the World thing. They team up for a little while. They fight. And then Miz beats the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. If that happens and The Miz versus Shane McMahon happens at WrestleMania and Shane McMahon goes over, I will be furious. Just saying. Anyway.
Well, Shane's been in a freaking Mania match, what? 32, he had a Hell in a Cell against Taker.
Yep.
33, he had his match with AJ Styles.
Yep.
34, he had his match with
Daniel Bryan and against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Exactly.
So here'd be the fourth Mania in a row. But
in between that, he put himself in the Survivor Series SmackDown tag team match.
Notice how these are all the big pay-per-views? Survivor Series, Rumble, Mania.
I just want to point out, I don't enjoy seeing
Shane, wrestle on Fastlane.
I just want to point out, I don't enjoy seeing Shane McMahon wrestle. I don't take pleasure in it.
Yeah, you know when I enjoyed Shane McMahon wrestling? 1991. Or
99.
99.
2000, 2001.
Like, if you have nothing better to do, go back and watch Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon from King of the Ring 01.
That was a good match.
You can watch Shane die like 3 times. Even in 03 against Kane, you can watch him die a couple times there, too.
True.
You can see his balls get electrocuted by Kane. When the Attitude Era was the thing. Go look for that somewhere in the summer of 03. Probably July or August you can find that.
Yeah, around there.
Look up Raw, you can see Shane get his balls electrocuted. I remember watching that as like a 12-year-old and thinking, oh, that sucks. Obviously, that probably not legit.
No.
As I say, probably there's no way that was legit.
There's no way.
Not a chance in hell. But yeah, so there's that. Let's skip to the main event of SmackDown, which was a triple threat match. Winner faces Asuka at the Royal Rumble, which was Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Charlotte.
And if you listened 12 minutes ago, I pretty much gave that away.
It was Becky Lynch was the winner. Carmella tapped out. It didn't really make sense, because a couple weeks ago when Paige was removed as GM, even though she's apparently still going to be on the show in some capacity, which she hasn't been seen yet.
She'll be one of those
advisors,
pay-per-view analysts.
Oh, okay, well, whatever it may be. She apparently said she tried to make Becky Lynch versus Asuka at the Rumble a match as her last act as GM, which was apparently canceled, air quotes. And all we did was just have the match anyway. So Carmella taps. We're going to have Becky and Asuka at the Rumble. I would assume Carmella and... By the way, in the graphic for the Rumble match itself, Carmella was already featured in that graphic.
Which one?
The Rumble graphic about the women in the Rumble match. She was in the graphic. Charlotte and Becky were not. So it was you already knew Carmella wasn't going to win, because she was in the graphic already. Charlotte and Becky were not. You said something about Becky could be in the title match and still be in the Rumble?
Well, WWE teased that in one of their posts. I forgot which one it is. But they said now that Becky Lynch has a title match, will she find a way to enter the Women's Royal Rumble as champion if she wins?
To me, that implies that the Women's Rumble is not opening the show.
No, hell no.
Well, it main evented last year's show. I thought it was going to open this year's show.
No.
And had the men were in a main event this year's show. I would be surprised if the Women's Rumble closed the show both years. But it could be in the middle of the show, because we've got the tag title match, SmackDown tag title match, the 2 women's title matches for Raw and SmackDown.
WWE title, the Universal
WWE title, Universal title. Is Rumble a 5-hour show? It's got to be, because there's 2 Rumble matches. Mm-hmm. So we're probably looking at a 6 p.m. start time, Eastern time, for the Rumble. And I don't know if we'll have another episode before the Rumble or not, but we'll absolutely have one after the Rumble. where we can discuss Mania plans. But
there's also the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight title.
That is right. I forgot about that. Hideo Itami is the last man in that match.
Hope he wins.
We discussed that in the last episode, the Fatal 4-Way. Now, with it being a Big Four show, do the Cruiserweights make the main card? I'm not sure if they do. I think they might get bumped to the pre-show in this instance. You're probably.
I hate to say it, but I can see Rusev and Nakamura being on the pre-show.
Oh, that isn't official yet, but that does look like Nakamura would get his rematch.
And I hate that. And I say I hate to say it because Nakamura deserves so much more.
I hope Nakamura goes to AEW or New Japan. Just leave.
Just leave.
Go where you'll actually be used correctly. Oh. All right, well, let's move on real quick. Got some other news and notes.
Here we go.
Well, let's just run down NXT Takeover Phoenix real quick.
Hey.
There's only 3 matches announced for that so far.
Oh.
We'll probably get another one. Just announced recently, the War Raiders versus Undisputed Era for the tag titles.
Okay.
I would just like to say that with all the call-ups coming up, like Heavy Machinery, why? Why not like the Undisputed Era, perhaps? Or instead of, I get Lars Sullivan, even though I don't agree with it because it's too soon. EC3 makes sense to me, but you leave the entire Undisputed Era on NXT. Aleister Black's on NXT. Ciampa's on NXT. Gargano's on NXT. Velveteen Dream's on NXT. Why aren't you bringing at least one of those guys up? Now, granted, I do think... Actually, let me jump to my next point before we go back to this. The NXT title match is Aleister Black versus Tommaso Ciampa. I'm going to assume the winner, either Black or Ciampa, will be in the Royal Rumble. Possibly a call-up, I'm not sure. Because they faced each other before. There's no really... I don't see anywhere else for either of them to go. Especially Aleister Black. He's got his title run. This is basically his rematch for the title. He had the thing with Gargano, the storyline. They've wrapped that up. Where else is there for him to go?
True.
I don't see where else there is for him to go. Do you agree with that?
But where does Ciampa go from here?
Well, if he retains the title, he's still a champion. I don't know who they'd have face him next, but the point is he'd be there. I'm not sure. They could have someone show up at NXT TakeOver, new signee or whatever, and do something like that. They usually do. I'm not really sure. There's only 3 matches announced. The third one is Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler for the women's title.
Oh?
That is the other match that has been announced. Those are the 3 confirmed matches for TakeOver. I would like to point out this time Ricochet does not have a confirmed match.
It's likely he'll face Johnny Gargano.
You would think, but not confirmed yet. But that is what we're looking at for TakeOver Phoenix at this point.
Gargano has to have some NXT, at least one NXT title run before he goes to the main roster.
You would have to think, yes.
I don't care if it's the NXT title or the North American title. Just have it be one of them.
Well, for what's confirmed at this point, let's go through some predictions. War Raiders versus the Undisputed Era for the tag titles.
Well, seeing as, the main roster is short now. Well, they're not short. They're just don't have enough developed stars to have high-profile matches. I can see the Undisputed Era being called up after TakeOver. Maybe extending it until the night after Mania or SmackDown, wherever they end up.
I can see it. I just don't want them to be called up and then not used correctly. And I also want them all called up together.
Together, right.
Not broken up like 3 of them and then Adam Cole comes later on to a different show or something.
Yeah, they have to go up. They have to come up together.
Yes, otherwise it's stupid.
It'll make no sense.
Right,
it'll make no sense to call up Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy, and then leave Bobby Fish and Adam Cole in NXT.
Yeah,
it'll make no sense.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Make no.
They
sense.
got to all come up together, which might be why they aren't in the coming up to WWE part.
Or it would infuriate me even more if they called up Bobby Fish, Roddy, and Kyle O'Reilly as the Undisputed Era and leave Adam Cole in NXT.
That's what I'm afraid they're going to do. No. They're going to bring the 3 of them up to, say SmackDown, face the New Day, and then after Mania, Cole gets shipped over to Raw and is over there. No. You could see him doing it, too.
I can totally see them doing that.
They do. They left Nikki Cross in NXT when they brought up Sanity. Mm-hmm. They left Carmella in NXT when they brought up Endzone Cass. They do this. They leave someone behind.
Yeah. I hope they don't do that, but...
This is WWE we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is the company that would have Ronda retain against Sasha Banks and then win the Women's Royal Rumble. I'm calling that, by the way.
So
I think that Ronda Rousey retains the title and then wins the Royal Rumble to face SmackDown Women's Champion, who will be Becky Lynch by the time Mania rolls around. I'm calling it. It's happening. It's going to happen.
So you really think
Yep.
that either Ronda or Becky, which I hope it's Becky, is going to leave Mania as both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion?
Yes, I do. Because this is WWE we're talking about.
So they'll be undisputed Women's Champion. They have to defend both titles at both shows.
Yes, because unifying it would be stupid.
Yes, it'd be very stupid. So I just want to point out, in WWE, they have 4 women's titles. Well, we have 4 women's titles right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it was necessary. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, it's...
I'm playing too deep into it.
All right, back to NXT. We were talking about the tag title match predictions, which we never answered.
Oh, yeah.
Undisputed Era.
I'm going to go with Undisputed Era. Maybe.
I'm going to go with the women's title next. I'm saying Undisputed Era also, by the way. Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler. And I've got an idea for that one.
I can see Shayna losing and being called up immediately after and helping Ronda win against Sasha Banks.
I'm actually going the complete opposite of that.
Oh.
I'm going Shayna Baszler wins, loses at the Takeover for Mania, comes up the night after Mania to challenge Ronda for both titles. Or for one of them, anyway. For one of the women's titles.
So you're going with the whole Ronda is fucking winning the Rumble and then winning both titles at Mania?
Oh, yeah. Going the whole thing. Either way. Either way, if she doesn't win or lose at Mania, I think Shayna Baszler comes up after Mania and challenges Ronda, and they're against each other. And maybe then somewhere down the line we get like maybe SummerSlam or Survivor Series. We get the 4-on-4 horsewomen.
Well, if you listen to episode,
etc.
If you listen to episode 6, where we talk, or 4, where we talk about how
we have talked about this in the past.
Yes, the whole 4 horsewomen from the MMA versus the 4 horsewomen from the WWE match happening at last year's Survivor Series.
But as
didn't happen
as the months go on and storylines change and things develop, I'm thinking that.
Well, I don't see them coming up as opponents because if you watch when Shayna won the NXT Women's title, she had her friends help her to win the match and the title. So I can see them all collectively going up together.
Well,
now, do I think Ronda... I mean, I don't think Ronda's going to freaking win the Women's Royal Rumble. I just don't think it's going to happen.
She might not even be in the Royal Rumble for all I know. I'm just saying this.
I can see Becky losing against Asuka, winning the Women's Royal Rumble, cashing in her championship match at Chamber or Fastlane, winning it then, and then challenging Ronda at Mania.
Well, that'd be interesting because the title match is supposed to be at Mania.
Well, we've seen it before.
Well, yeah, we have. So
Cena's done it.
Cena did it.
You know what I mean?
Mysterio put his head on the line against Orton
and lost
and then turned into a triple threat at Mania.
Yeah.
It's happened before.
So
we'll see. And then the main event.
Watch none of this happen.
Yeah,
and it'll be Becky Lynch versus Carmella or something.
Yeah, and we just wasted like the last 20 minutes of your time speculating about this.
And we get Ronda versus Bayley.
Can you imagine if the Raw was telling us Mania is Ronda versus Bayley?
Oh no,
Bayley's going over. Can you imagine if Bayley's the first one to beat Ronda Rousey? With the Bayley to belly suplex?
That's a finisher.
I know. It's the worst move ever.
I don't know what's worse, that one or Wade Barrett's End of Days.
I mean, Baron Corbin's End of Days?
Wade Barrett
had the Wasteland.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the Wasteland. I'm sorry. The Wasteland when he would just pick you up and then just throw you.
I think the worst is actually Ryback's Shell Shocked.
No, that was
AKA glorified Samoan drop.
Yeah.
Come on, that's all it was. He just fell backwards and landed on him. That's all it was. NXT title.
Actually, the worst finisher was Santino's Cobra.
Yeah, so anyway, moving on, because I just got insulted by that reminder. Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa, NXT title. I'm saying Tommaso Ciampa retains. That's what I'm going with.
I'll agree. Ciampa's probably the best heel in the company right now.
Oh, he is. No music. None needed.
No, he's got music.
Oh, does he? Well, he didn't have it for a while. So is that what we got for NXT TakeOver Phoenix?
That's what we have so far.
All right. I got a couple other news and notes I want to go over. There was a rumor that came out for WrestleMania 36. The location of it, obviously 35 is this April in New York, New Jersey. It's technically in East Rutherford, New Jersey, even though they bill it as New York. Which, by the way, in the promo video they showed last year, that is a complete joke. They showed one thing for New Jersey in the actual promo video. Everything else was like New York State of Mind and New York this, New York that. It is not even in New York.
Well, New York is more marketable, so that's why.
I know. I know why. It's the point. Some stuff will be in Brooklyn and New York stuff, but Mania itself is in New Jersey.
Maybe Access itself will be in New York.
By the way, yeah, let's point that out. We're 3 months out from Mania. Access has not been announced yet. The location of Access is not known.
It's weird.
Yes. Usually it's announced a year ahead of time with everything else.
Like in November.
No, it's like the location's been announced usually in the press conference for Mania itself.
Oh, wow.
Where it'll be. There is no known location. There's a rumor of Newark being a location. Possibly they could do the 40-40 Club at the Barclays Center, which is where they did some of the SummerSlam special signings. There wasn't a full access, but they had a few displays there and whatnot. Yeah, there's no access actually officially announced at this point. So, and usually, tickets for access that aren't in the travel packages for Mania usually go on sale after the Royal Rumble. So we're only a few weeks away from that. So that'll be interesting to see if that's something that gets announced or not. But yeah, access is not known. But back to Mania 36, there was a rumor that came out today. I forget who said it. I want to say his name is Brad Shepard. It was online. The rumor is Florida. Again.
Again, the home of what? Mania 28?
24, 28, 33. Orlando, Miami, Orlando. It would be... It's unlikely, and by unlikely, I mean it's not going to happen. It will not be Orlando again.
No.
So that leaves 3 cities in Florida, which are Jacksonville, Tampa, and Miami.
Well, that's not confirmed yet, though.
No, it's not confirmed. This is not confirmed. This is all speculation. They're the front runners. But Jacksonville ain't going to happen. There's no chance. Well, AEW's owned by the owner, or the son of the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That football stadium ain't having WrestleMania.
Oh, it's going to have AEW's first major TV, major pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Or their WrestleMania. They're equivalent to their WrestleMania.
Maybe in 10 years.
They're building
AEW ain't filling up 80,000 seats yet.
Yeah.
But the point is, it ain't Jacksonville. So we got Miami and Tampa. We've done Miami before with Mania 28, which had the once-in-a-lifetime match until the next year. So Mania 28 had Rock Cena. That's one location. And Tampa, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team plays, that would be the other location that would be big enough to hold them. If it is in Florida, there are other cities that have been rumored in the past. Minneapolis, Detroit, Atlanta. Minneapolis and Atlanta have pretty much brand new football stadiums. That would be a good location to hold them in. Detroit, I hope not.
Right.
Because really, Detroit in April, with no clean drinking water and whatnot, etc., I'm not really feeling that. Nothing against Detroit. I've been there before. Actually, I've been to Detroit before. I drove by the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit one time, where the Red Wings play, or used to play, I guess. I think they still play there. So we'll see what happens with that. That announcement should come pretty soon. Usually it comes out about a month or two before the previous Mania.
Right.
So 35's coming up in a few months. We should know probably next month, maybe 6 weeks, when or where Mania 36 will be. We might know where Mania 36 is before we know where Access this year is, with the way that's going. One more note that came out earlier today, which is January 10th again, as we're recording. Eva Marie. Remember her? I wish I could forget.
Yep.
Apparently she's going to be on the next season of Celebrity Big Brother. She was seen filming a promo for the show. That show starts January 21st on CBS. Last year it featured, mainly not a lot of big name celebrities. Former NBA star Meta World Peace was on it. MMA fighter Chuck Liddell was on it last year. No word on who's actually on it this season, but Eva Marie is apparently going to be on the cast of Celebrity Big Brother.
Well, there you
go. The actual Big Brother is a reality show in the summertime that's 3 months long. The celebrity version is a condensed version. It's like a month long. But they're all isolated from the outside world and all that stuff. No phones, no social media, no TV, blah, 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 blah. You get the point. So that's what we got on her. Anything else you want to add for this week?
I'm good. I think we pretty much covered everything that's happening, that's going to happen. Royal Rumble is, 2 weeks away from now?
I believe we're 17 days away from right now as we're recording.
So just over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
So I think we'll be back with another episode most likely before the Royal Rumble. We'll do some predictions for the entire card at that point. Again, all the entrants will be announced. Yeah. One thing we didn't point out, I didn't see any promos this week on Raw for Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. And the feeling, I think, is they're going to try to be surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble. I can see that happening. They're not officially listed for it, but we've seen the promos are coming back.
Weren't they clear to compete?
I'm not sure. I would assume so if they're showing promos to the return. I would have to imagine.
That's true.
But I don't remember seeing those this week. I think they were, downplayed a little bit.
Right.
So it's like people were told, maybe you'll kind of forget about it before the Rumble happens. I could see Owens returning and eliminating Lashley from the Rumble, because that was how he was written off TV when he needed knee surgery. And coincidentally enough, same thing with Sami Zayn. He lost to Bobby Lashley on pay-per-view, and that's when he was gone. So you might see them come out and do something with that. With Lashley eliminating him, who knows? We'll see what happens with them. Owens, I would assume, is going to return as a face.
Think so?
Well, they kind of did a double heel turn almost, or a double turn.
Oh, yeah.
With Lashley, because Lashley was a face going into that match, hurt him, and then everyone's like, well, now he's beating the shit out of Kevin Owens. He's written off TV. Might get the sympathy factor, who knows?
Right.
I think Owens is due for a face turn. He's been a heel since he debuted. Literally in NXT, his first night he wrestled and then
he was the face for one night.
Yeah, not even the whole night. He didn't make it the whole night. At the end of the night, he powerbombed Sami Zayn. So yeah, it didn't last very long. So he's never been a face in WWE in any form. So we'll see what happens
Except
there.
for like maybe one match.
Yeah, one. Yeah, literally one match. Although in my opinion, he was a face against John Cena. Cena in his first night, Cena tries to give advice. It's like, let me get something straight. I've been doing this for a lot longer than you. Yeah. The only difference is I didn't get a break till now, so you don't get to give me advice ever.
That's awesome.
I love Kevin Owens. And like 2 weeks later, Cena starts the show. Owens comes out. These people have been seeing you start the show for the last 10 years, and quite frankly, we're all tired of it.
Yeah! You get a pop of them?
Yeah, everyone pops for it. Oh, the days of the faces and heels are gone. Everyone loves the heels.
Right. There's no
like Becky Lynch.
There's no such thing as a face anymore.
Like, I remember I was at SummerSlam, and when Becky Lynch turned heel and beat Charlotte, that crowd erupted. I don't know if people watching it at home could tell, because even from the live crowd.
I was watching that.
Oh, but man. And everyone knew it was coming, too. Everyone knew. We were just waiting for that swing. And then people are chanting, "You deserve it," at Charlotte for getting your ass kicked. Yeah. That's the best part.
Well, she didn't need to win the match.
She didn't. And you knew that was going to happen, too. She got added to the match and then took the spotlight. Thankfully, that was righted, and Becky Lynch is the man now, literally.
So now Becky Lynch will likely win the... I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I think Becky Lynch turning heel and then also getting her face broken were the best things that could happen to her. Best thing, because now she's probably going to main event WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. They would have had her lose to Ronda at Survivor Series more than likely.
Her not having that match,
probably lose at TLC anyway in a ladder match.
Her not having that match at Survivor Series helped her out so much.
Because now we're probably looking at her in the main event of Mania, possibly literally the main event of Mania. It's possible. So, and quite frankly, she deserves it more than Charlotte. Oh, yeah. Charlotte is there because Ric Flair's her dad. Let's face it.
When your father is, the
only 2-time Hall of Famer and 16-time world champion and etc.
I think it's probably the biggest legend next to Hulk Hogan.
One of the top 5 names of all time.
Oh yeah.
You talk about and when you're talking about names like Hogan, Michaels, Austin, Rock, Triple H, Flair, Andre the Giant, and Flair's top 5 of all time ever, you're gonna get pushed. Just like that's why Nia Jax's still employed, because she's related to The Rock. And everyone who's related to The Rock somehow gets pushed.
Gets a push, right?
But anyway, we're just rambling on here about nothing at this point. So, all right. Thank you for tuning in. You know what to do. Subscribe, like. You can find us on Facebook at End of the Day Entertainment. You can find us on YouTube at End of the Day ENT, all caps. I have a baseball Twitter and Facebook, Warning Track MLB. You can follow that one. You can find our Snapchats and Instagrams and stuff, all that good, social media garbage.
Yep.
And we will see you very, very soon.
Have a good one.